Good morning, my name is Shivan Hutchinson, and this is my practicum for St. George's University. I basically had a practicum with the Village Children's Home and with collaboration with the St. George's University to develop a plan program for children ages 0 to 8 years old. So facts about the Bel Home, it was opened in 1999 by Patty and Maggie Ross as a nonprofit establishment. It's located in Cali, St. George's. Their mission is to promote and provide appropriate care, service, and activities for the welfare, benefits, and educational development of children and young people. The goal is to provide despite and residential care for all children and adolescents in usually between the ages 0 to 12 years old. So basically, the issue at this home, why I had to do this practicum is they want to determine the developmental levels of each child. So they wanted me to come up with a program where they can evaluate this and see where each child is at in the beginning and in the ending. They want to observe the different needs of each child. For example, if children came in basically who were abused and who wasn't abused, who have mental issues. So they want to know how to observe these, determine the best strategies to implement activities or solutions that to issues or developmental problems with each child and improving the educational training, knowledge, and understanding for each worker to cope or deal with each child. So this is very important. When the workers understand how to deal with it, they will be well equipped to protect and care for each child. So the solutions we came up with was one, to prepare a pre-assessment for each child, a post-assessment, developmental activities for each stages, and then to develop a manual to assist the workers. So in the pre-assessment area for each child, they basically wanted to create an evaluation for these different aspects. So for example, the social. So they wanted to see how each child interact now with their parents and also the workers at the home. Mental, to determine if there's any mental issues or any psychological issues that may be affecting the child at the time. Physical, is there any physical delays? Is there any physical problems? Anything that may have been caused by abuse or neglect? Educational, to understand if the child has any learning disabilities or is the child learning at the rate that the child is supposed to learn. Emotional, is a child emotional due to past traumas, which might be abuse or neglect, or is a child stable enough to deal with others, know how to express themselves correctly? This was the pre-assessment. The post-assessment area now is basically to now come back after they have done different activities in the social, mental, physical, educational, emotional. And this is basically done in children who really needs this. And then to come back now to evaluate and see if there's any form of improvement, like if the child has improved or has a child remained in the same area, or has a child now moved to a negative side, which means they have gotten worse than what they were previously evaluated at. So this will now determine if there need to be more activities implemented for the children, or the activities implemented actually work and we should maintain or keep that what's actually working, because not everything works for every child and you may have to change activity to suit the child until you find out which activity works for each child. So the activities is following the same procedure for each section for each child. So we go at different developmental stages, for example, 0 to 1, 1 to 2, for the kids under 6 months, and then from 6 months you go every 6 months, so 6 to 12, 12 to 18 months, because they basically develop a certain amount of activities within that time frame. And then as they get even older, you go within a year or 2 years, because there isn't much development after they pass the age of 1 year old. So the manual was basically to educate the workers in observing specific signs that would indicate social, mental, physical, educational, and emotional health related issues. Educate the workers on interpreting these changes in the specific signs of social, mental, physical, educational, and emotional health issues. Implementing programs that will assist the workers in coping with the issues. Implementing activities that will impact positively and observe changes in social, mental, physical, educational, and emotional health issues. Educating the workers on ways to avoid positive observed changes in the social, mental, physical, emotional, and educational health issues. Now, this manual is basically to help the workers, as I was told the workers don't really have that educational learning how to deal with children and how to observe. So that's why this manual is very, very important for them. Overall, I would say my experience with this practicum was gratefully appreciated. I learned a lot. I developed my communication and interpersonal skills the most, as I had to communicate back and forth with the workers and my site supervisor. My site supervisor was very helpful in ways that she ensured that I got everything done. As I said, I was getting it done. She also advised to make sure that we need to consider the educational levels of each of the workers and their understanding, so that when I develop this program, it made it very easy for them to understand, for them to read, and for them to educate themselves, depending on each child and each area they want to work on. Also, we want to implement educational training when the home manager is back for each worker, so they know how to really use the manual, how the evaluation works, and stuff like that. So overall, I would like to thank the Belay Home, my site supervisor, Dr. Orlando, and my practical coordinators at the Central University for this well-prepared practicum. I'm very grateful for the experience, and I would like to do it again, actually, in the future. Now, these are my references, and thank you for listening to my testimonial for my practicum.